The first of two nights of the leaders' debates in anticipation of the stupid snap election that is definitely going to be biting Justin Trudeau in his fucking soy-filled ass. No tears shed, but at the same time, who gives a fuck which party's in control? They're all the same at the top. But the PPC supporters protest Bernier's exclusion from the federal leaders' debate. And yeah, as much groundswell as you'd expect to see for the PPC in the lead up of all this stuff. I hate the party's name because it's got People's Party of Canada. It's like, that just harkens to some of the worst regimes of all time. You'll fix that in the future, but hey, whatever. I love your ideas. I think that it's great, but you just get excluded because reasons, and then you get shots taken at you from the podium because you're not there to defend yourself, and Jagmeet Singh is a lump of shit, and I fucking can't stand the motherfucker. But I think that there should be, a whole bunch of support out there, but then again, I also realize that Canadians are, in general, a center-left group. They're kind of a socialist light sort. The fucking divisions built into the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, whatever the fuck you want to call it, 2 languages, and that's why we have 2 nights of fucking leaders debates, and they need to be one in French and one in English. The one in English happens tonight, but I don't know, unless there's a better turnout for these protests tonight, because tonight's the English language debate, I'm not that hopeful, but they keep turning out higher in the polls, so we'll see what's going on. People's Party of Canada will not be ignored. A recent campaign email urged supporters to stand outside the federal leaders' debate venue to protest Maxime Bernier's exclusion. Yeah, that's your right. Approximately 20 protesters chanted, "Let Max speak." Ugh. According to the Leaders' Debate Commission, the eligible parties, and we went over their criteria, either needed to have at least one member of Parliament in the House of Commons, have national support level of at least 4%. It's over that. 5 days after the date of the election, caller received at least 4% of the vote in the 2019 federal election. Yeah, and PPC got 3.6 or 3.9%. So nice little arbitrary numbers that they have there. Although the PPC did not meet that criteria, they've been consistently polling ahead of the Green Party, which has been including in the debate, and also consistently ahead of the Bloc Québécois. So why are both of them up there but not the PPC? Purple man bad. According to the exclusive True North poll, the PPC and Greens are effectively tied nationally. Further, PPC is ahead of the Greens in Ontario, and the Prairies in BC. In BC? Oh, must be northern BC. Yes, the PPC also has candidates in over 90% of ridings across the country, where the Greens have candidates in less than 75% of their ridings. Yeah, I don't think that they have one in my area. I wouldn't be surprised because I've only seen campaign signs for two candidates, and one's for the fucking Maverick Party. So, and that's an entire bag of worms in and of itself. I have to look at their platform before I make any definitive statements, but it just strikes me as being the Québécois or the Bloc Québécois for the West, and isolationist, shitty policies like that. It doesn't matter if it's East Coast, West Coast, North, fucking out in the Maritimes. It really doesn't much matter to me. They're bad regardless of where you put them. So I don't know what the Maverick Party is about, but that's how they're trying to sell themselves, as being the party of the West. Well, fuck off. I want to make a better Canada. So what's supposed to be happening at this English language debate tonight? Well, let's see. Following Wednesday's second French language debate, the leaders in Canada's five main parties, yeah, sure, are preparing to take the stage once again, this time in English, as the election looms near. Prime ministerial candidates are working hard to woo voters into voting for their respective parties. I don't care. Wednesday night's French language debate covered all topics, as well as the issue of Quebec's position in Canada. Nuke it. Keep forgetting I'm a Quebecer, Trudeau said. I don't care. Even more ammunition to fucking hate you. But what else did this fucking soy puppet have to say? Trudeau calls Rebel News disinformation responsible for stoking anger in Canada. Oh, okay. Says the guy who takes shots at unvaccinated people all the time and openly hates conservatives. Yeah, no, it's the media. It's one fucking outlet which you tried to have bar from covering the debates. But hey, no, that's totally fair and fine. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau teed off on Rebel News' journalist Tamara Ugolini after Wednesday's federal leadership debate, after asking Trudeau why their news organization had to fight the federal government in court to ask him questions post-debate. Trudeau held no punches, calling Rebel a website that spreads misinformation and disinformation. You should already know, based on that disclaimer that Trudeau would provide for them, that, yeah, maybe they might have something for you, because we're at the point where anything a political figure says, you can immediately take it with a little bit of skepticism, if not just absolutely believing the total inverse of it. Trudeau also said that Rebel, which he refused to call a media organization. Why? Because they're not on the payroll. Was partly responsible for the polarization we see in this country. They were founded after you took office, or at least they rose to prominence. I don't have the exact date that they were founded, but you are the one responsible for all of this fucking division. This country was great under Harper. Had your disagreements with Paul Martin, had your disagreements with Jean Chrétien. Even before that, people held their nose and voted for Brian Mulroney, who is a total fucking toolbag in and of himself. But before that, everything was all fine. And then you came in with your pseudo Barack Obama policies, and you started to stoke the whole race fire by bringing up Native affairs, and you've seen that as your little bit of an in, and then, hey, yeah, just take a look at the background there, where Canada doesn't have any culture, right? And you're just a out-and-out feminist, even though anytime that a woman speaks out against you, you fire them and banish them from your party. But hey, look at me, I'm so great because I got a fucking statue of some fucking native carving in the background. Hunk of shit, dude. The reality is organizations like yours that continue to spread misinformation and disinformation on the science around vaccines, around how we're going to actually get through this pandemic, how you think we are, but pandemic can be over the moment you say it is, but you won't. And be there for each other. It's not the responsibility of the government. And keep our kids safe. Again, how are kids affected by this? Other than you're fucking up their childhood by making them wrap their head up and forcing them to learn in little fucking plastic cubicles. But you're keeping kids safe, right? Fucking monster. It's part of why we see so much unfortunate anger. This is a guy who's totally not angry. And lack of understanding of basic science. Nice little summation of his career. Quite frankly, you don't get to use that statement. I won't call it a media organization, you cunt. Your group of individuals needs to account for some of the polarization that we see in this country. True leader right there. Pass the buck. To account for some of the polarization we see in this country. And I think Canadians are cluing into the fact that there is a critical decision to take about the kind of country we want to see. And that's why you're failing, bro. With a very diverse group of people that are up there. And they all suck. According to a new poll from Nanos Research, the Conservatives are ahead of the Liberals as Canada's election looms near because of all of that rebel news disinformation. Even though the CBS, CTV, CBC, I don't know, they all just parrot the same talking points, so what are you talking about? The poll, which includes data collected until September 8th, so accurate as of the time of the debate, asked respondents to rank their top local voting preferences in the federal election, was held today. Results show the Conservatives at 32.6% and the Liberals at 30.6%. The NDP remains comfortably in third place, nearly 10 points behind everyone. Oh, a little bit over 10 points behind everyone. Over the past month, the Liberals have lost nearly 3%, while the Conservatives gained over 4%. Why? They all suck. Vote PPC. Unless you got that fucking testicle-breathing weirdo. I don't know what to do with him. Leave him alone so he doesn't coom on me, I suppose. But what else happened at that French language debate? Well, we got to talk about Jagmeet Singh, of course. Says regulating online speech is government's responsibility. Why do you think Bill C-10 got as far as it did? Because they're all in on it, folks. They're all fucking in on it. Live in the pod, eat the bugs, praise the government. I'm so tired of all of this. Very tired. NDP leader Jagmeet Singh says the government must step in because social media companies aren't doing a good enough job at keeping hate speech off their platforms. Oh, really? What is hate speech? I know what he thinks hate speech is. And me saying that he looks very, very homosexual wearing a pink headscarf is probably hate speech. But then again, I'm petty and I can't stand him. Speaking to reporters Wednesday night after the French leaders' debate in Gatineau, Quebec, now I know why there was only 20 protesters outside, because you're in the most liberal part of Quebec. Singh said, existing hate speech laws are not sufficiently preventing radicalization. Yes, all of those radical Canadians that are out there. Can you point to any of them? Any of them? No. Bueller. No, he didn't explain at what point he thinks protected speech becomes hate speech. Yeah, because they never do. They just want control. They just want control. The Liberal government has acknowledged that there is a problem, but they haven't acted in 6 years. The fuck? A couple months ago, Bill C-10, you were there, you voted for it. They haven't done anything to take on hate speech online. You're just a filthy liar, my dude. And without any action from the government, or leaving it in the hands of web giants and social media giants who are all in your back pocket, what are you complaining about? Oh, they just allow political commentary and criticism. I understand. We're leaving it in their hands, and they are not well equipped. Nor have they shown really the willingness to take on online hate. He's just tired of seeing mean tweets. I get it. They allow it to spread, and I believe it is the government's responsibility. That's why you should never vote NDP, but far too many stupid stoners in BC do. But this is a structural problem, a systemic problem, if you will, because Dr. Tam, our version of a less attractive Anthony Fauci, failed to consult medical professionals on federal pandemic response. But according to Justin Trudeau, the only way to get through the pandemic is the advice of Dr. Tam, who didn't consult with any of the medical professionals. Starting to see a problem here, folks? I know you probably have for a long time. According to Canadian Medical Association Journal, federal scientists refused to speak with Canada's doctors on pandemic planning because of the election. No shit. The chief public health officer, Dr. Theresa Tam, said that she could not discuss the incident. Why? You're not being elected. You're just appointed. You just ascend through and you get selected out of a crowd of equally old and awful faces by the male feminist in Ottawa. I can't speak to the exact nature of the interactions with the Canadian Medical Association Journal because they didn't happen. We are trying to help. Oh, okay, I wasn't actually consulting the science because I know the science. Thanks for the open admission, you fucking loser. And you know why she doesn't ever want to end this pandemic? A lot of people are out of work. Canada is one of the slowest economies to recover. Over 300,000 federal workers received raises while private sector suffered. I'm not shocked by this. They didn't miss a single fucking paycheck through all of this stuff, and they still aren't going to when the next lockdown happens later this fall, once they get through that very stressful time of the snap election that Justin Trudeau called. He's going to lose some red seats. They're going to go over to blue seats, and nobody's going to be any more the wiser because he's just going to continue to call fucking elections and votes of no confidence. Hundreds of thousands of federal workers received pay raises during the pandemic, while those off government payroll struggled to get by, a new report shows. No shit, I'm shocked by this. The Canadian Taxpayer Federation, a Labor Day reality check, sure, says 312,825 federal workers and MPs received pay raises between 2020 and 2021. This disconnect between the public and private sector is unacceptable, a CTF spokesperson said. Canadians have experienced a tale of two pandemics, one full of private sector pain, the other full of bureaucrat pay increases. No shit. Franco Terrazzano, fucking gabagool. We need politicians and bureaucrats to help shoulder the burden because it can't just be struggling families and businesses forced to pay back the $1 trillion federal debt. Oh, don't worry, nobody will ever pay that back, and we'll just sell it off to China, and we'll eventually, instead of having a Canadian flag fly high above the House of Commons, that'll just be replaced by one that doesn't have the all too problematic white stripe down the middle of it, and they'll just replace the maple leaf with a couple of nice little fucking stars in the corner. I need to get out of here. Not the video, we're just ending it here, but I'm just talking about Canada in general, because it's fucked! It's fucked! But that English language debate is tonight, and talk about it a little bit tomorrow. I don't know, hopefully the world doesn't end. I am optimistic that things will get better, it's just but the short term is really looking like a motherfucker. From every conceivable angle. But with that said, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. Sorry for the downer. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.